Okay, now I wouldn't want to take this one on right here. Looks like Sugar Ray Stella to me. That's how she looked tonight when she went trick or treating. I wonder who's going to be dressed up tonight. If you could go as anybody on the universe tonight, who'd you go as? Stella has chosen a boxer. I don't know if I should call her Muhammad Martin or Sugar Ray Stella or what, but she looks like she's ready to punch somebody. So be careful. She's out trick or treating in the neighborhood near you, better give her a candy because she's getting serious right there. So, yeah, pretty cool outfit, Stella. I love it. Bring me lots of candy, all right? This is the Buddy Martin Show about to go on the air. David Whitley waiting in the orange and blue room. I think he's got some kind of paraphernalia on his head. I'm not sure what. Something. Tonight, I'm going as Buddy Martin, okay? That's who I'm going as. So that's how it looks. And we'll say good evening to you and hello to David Whitley. He's in the orange and blue room. Let's go find him right now on the Buddy Martin Show.
Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye!
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
He's all dressed up tonight for Halloween. And good evening to Sir. How should I address you? I'm not sure how.
Good evening, buddy.
Good evening, Mr.
How are
Rogers
you?
in the neighborhood, right? Oh, okay. David's frozen already. Didn't think
Do a little something, so I'm frozen.
Yes, you are frozen.
Am I back?
And you came as a frozen. And now
Yes,
you're
that's-
saying you thought you were fooling us with that frozen look, but we know you weren't frozen. So,
Yeah.
David, I love the red hat. Are you one of
Thank
the ladies red hat club? Is that what it is, or I don't know what's happening here. No, David, if it's you or me, it might be me, but anyway,
It's the ghost of Gremlins.
it is.
of
It is.
Halloween.
It is Gremlins speaking. All right, what's the red hat? Tell me.
Well, I thought because it's Arkansas week, I would either be like a fashion challenged Arkansas booster
Mm-hmm.
for this, or a pimp, or maybe both.
A pimp. Okay.
Yeah. So this is originally a pimp hat that I had.
Okay. Yeah.
The feather
You
and
had
everything.
in your previous life, or
Yes. When before I became back reincarnated as a sports writer.
I
'Cause,
got you.
I'm paying my dues for my sins in my past life.
Yeah. We have to do what we have to do, David. That's just how it is. Now, I would imagine if you put your mind to it, knowing your creative imagination, you come up with some real doozies for costumes. I was thinking tonight, who would I want to be?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Buffett. I don't know. I don't have a character. Who you got?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to brag, but I did win a costume contest many years ago in Tallahassee when I didn't know what I was going to do, just sort of a last minute thing. So I just grabbed a towel, two pink towels, and some face cream from my girlfriend, and went as a woman getting out of the shower to a and somehow I won the $500 first prize by doing that. So there's that. Then one year I never planned these things, but I just decided I would wrap myself in tinfoil. So I got about 10
Oh,
things of tin, and I went as a tinfoil man, which seemed like a good idea until I tried to get in the car. I was like
not
the
good.
Michelin, yeah, the Michelin tire thing,
And
and it
not good
won't
if
work.
it's lightning. It's not a good choice at all.
No, no. And plus, it was a
Mhm.
it was like being a baked potato wrapped in
Oh,
foil.
okay.
So
Here's a guy
I will
who
be hydrated.
all right. Here's a guy who thinks he's fooling us right like he's Tony Barnhart. Okay. He
Oh,
said,
had I known Mr. College Football was going to be here,
yeah,
I would
yeah,
have dressed
yeah.
more
You dressed a
appropriately.
little better. That's right. Yeah. Now this looks like Tony Barnhart. Let's see if it sounds like Tony Barnhart. Tony, what's going on, brother?
Gentlemen, it's all good. It's been an interesting season so far, and we're going to have one heck of a November.
Well, the college football rankings are out. Georgia is number
Mhm.
2. Are you surprised?
No, I thought the committee would go with Ohio State because of the 2 wins they've got over Notre Dame and Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia didn't have anything like that, and particularly in these early votes, it's really the resume. Who have you beat so far? So I wasn't surprised. Now Georgia's schedule is going to get a lot tougher.
Yeah.
They're going
Yeah.
to play Missouri. They're going to play Ole Miss. They're going to play Tennessee, and they might play Alabama
Mm-hmm.
in Atlanta if they get to the
Yeah.
SEC championship.
Yeah. Well, Tony, and I'll get David Whitley, you can say hello to David in here on this conversation. There's the rankings, there's how they're projected to look, there's also who they've beaten. I go with the eye test. The team I just saw looks like me like much the best in the country. All right? Looks like this. And not only that, I wrote a column saying, get used to it. It's like the Ming Dynasty. Kirby's not going away anytime soon. And I talked to Shane Matthews on his show this morning. We agreed the same thing. This is going to be around for a long time, and you know that. You watched them build it, and the football team I saw was bigger, faster, stronger, better than Florida by far, and Florida's got more than just a little bit to go to catch up to that if they ever do. So Kirby's got it all going on. What's this, his 8th year or 7th?
Well, seventh, his first season, I think, was 16. Was his first season.
Mm-hmm. David Whitley, you saw the game. What did you see?
I saw, the sleeping giant awaken again. I can't say I was terribly surprised because, the last time they seemed to be challenged or get up for a game was Kentucky, and that was an annihilation. And people point to Florida and that the fourth quote fourth and dumb too. I don't think that. I think that just delayed the inevitable avalanche that was going to come tumbling down on Florida's head. Either way, once Georgia got it going, and it's hard to see if they play like that, anybody stopping them. There are far more questions about Bama and LSU and whoever else you want to throw up there right now than there are about Georgia as far as winning out and making it through to the playoff.
David, I agree with that. Everybody says just much superior, and we have not seen the best of this Georgia team, and we're starting to see it come together now. And you watched them for a long time, Tony. I know you're holding back a little to wait and see what happens. Who would have thought Missouri would be a key game, right? And
Yeah.
But it is, and I don't see anybody stopping them. Tony, do you?
At this point, no. At this point, no. Now, to me, it's going to be interesting. The game that interests me the most in that stretch, I think they'll take care of Missouri fine. Missouri hasn't really played that good of a schedule. They played well. They're well coached. Don't get me wrong, but Georgia's physically much superior. And the other factor, guys, in Georgia is that Carson Beck, quarterback from Jacksonville, has gotten better and better and better with each game that comes along. And as somebody said on Saturday, the Georgia offense, which used to run through Brock Bowers, now runs through Carson Beck.
I think he's found something. Tony, don't you, David? Looks like to me he's found something at quarterback position. He's got it figured out, and we knew he could throw and whatever. I think he's getting better as a player. Like Tony said, David, is that what you saw?
Yeah, as much fun as people had sort of making light of Georgia's early schedule, I think it worked out perfectly because Beck could just basically wade into the deep end of the pool slowly and get comfortable, and that's what he's done. And when he's been challenged, I mean, he's checked every box that's so far. And before the game, and Jackson was thinking, well, maybe homecoming, and Florida was sort of on the upswing and all that. Well, not quite. He looked like everything he was advertised to be. So when you're nitpicking Georgia, which is what you have to do to find weak spots, you can no longer nitpick the quarterback position.
No,
well, what's interesting about that, buddy, is David, is that Carson Beck wins the job. They've got 2 5-stars sitting in their quarterback room for whatever that's worth. The number 1 high school quarterback in America this year is Dominic Raiola, who transferred in high school and is going to high school about 30 miles or 40 miles from Athens. And so the point is they got guys in their quarterback room who are great players who can't get on the field.
Yeah.
And that's what catches my attention. If you're at Georgia, if you're playing Georgia every year, this, as Buddy said, it's going to be hard to slow this down with that many players coming in.
It is, and here's the thing about it. First of all, Mike Bobo, props to him. Everybody's been ripping on Bobo. He called a great game, and really, he had it figured out. He had Florida's defense solved. The second thing is, and I had friends of mine tell me this, is that every position, Georgia has such more speed. I mean, they're big defensive tackles and defensive linemen. They can run down those running backs and quarterbacks. They can defend. And I got to tell you, I thought they were good. I didn't know they were this good. So I don't see anybody stopping them. I think they'll go all the way. And I wrote today, maybe Athens is about to come to Tuscaloosa.
Well, it's very, what Kirby has done is very Saban-esque, and it's recruiting class after class after class and stacking them one on top of each other. I mean, go back to 2021. Georgia wins the national championship with arguably the best front seven, or certainly one of the best front sevens I've ever seen in this league or any other league. They come back the following year. They weren't quite as good as they were a year before, but that was good enough to go 15-0 and win the national championship. Well, here they are again. They're an undefeated team with the schedule down the stretch, but it's about consistency in recruiting, doing it year, so that when you lose great players, you are replacing them with guys who are not only great players, but they're hungry to finally get a chance to play because they know that's their ticket to the NFL. And that's what Saban has done over the 16, 17 years he's been there. He recruits great players and he tells them there's a lot of different ways to get to the NFL, but the way that we do it works.
Yeah, plug and play, and then go play and get your money. Fantastic. Tony, you've seen all these teams before, and how good could this team be compared to others, Georgia, compared to the last 2 years?
Well, the thing about it is Georgia has a lot of playmakers. They looked at Bowers, who's a great, great player, and he was certainly their most dynamic player. But you look at the receivers they brought in from Mississippi State and Missouri, Lad McConkey. I mean, on and on and on. They've got guys that make plays. Their running backs are starting to get healed up. And if they get a quality running game on top of what else they've been doing, they're gonna be hard to handle.
You warned us about Lad McConkey, and boy, would he make the play. Just the talent level he has. His ability to cut and run and the speed he's got. And they're just getting him in the lineup now. So I don't see anything but blue skies and green lights for Georgia the rest of the way. So,
well, the November 17th, 18th game at Tennessee, I think is going to be interesting because Georgia will have played Missouri, Ole Miss 3 weeks in a row against tough competition, physically draining competition. So I think, and Tennessee would love to spoil Georgia's undefeated season. So we'll see. That's the thing about this conference. It's not just the team you got to play this week, but the team you got to play next week and the week after that. It is a cumulative effect on you, is what coaches have told me.
Yeah, it's what I call the residual impact. Is that you got to play another next week, and it's a body punches you take over a season.
Right.
And there are not many teams built to do that. Georgia can take it. Georgia can take a punch for sure.
Yep. Well, I remember sitting in when Kevin Sumlin was the coach at Texas A&M, sitting in his office. After his first year, I said, "Did you learn that the SEC was a line of scrimmage league?" He said, "Yeah. It's also not only is it a line of scrimmage league, it's a depth league. If you don't have depth and you get to November when everybody's beat up, you're going to go downhill fast in November. You've got to have the quality depth for you to survive through November."
And 44 might not be enough, David. 44 might not be enough. You may have to have more than that,
Yeah. It's funny. You saw the depth. As soon as Oscar Delp made that one-handed catch, you thought, all right, he's not Brock Bowers, but he's pretty good. It's not like tight end became a weak spot all of a sudden. And then, when things, come playoff time or SEC championship time, then you just add Brock Bowers back to the mix. And that it's just
luxury.
It's a wealth of problems that Kirby has on himself. But like Tony said, he keeps them hungry, and man, they are just so well coached. Funny, we asked Hayden Hansen, who was at the podium yesterday for Florida, said, what is it about Georgia? Physically they looked so dominant. He says, well, physically they're really good, but what really set them apart is just that they're just so well coached.
Discipline.
The disciplined, and like you really saw it on those fourth down plays. When they just had, what Smails Monson, I always mess up the name, but the kid who blew up the play on fourth and one.
Didn't go for the fake at all.
He knew. All of them knew exactly what was going on. They didn't bite on anything, and that just gets back to just these guys know their X's and O's, and they drill them into them.
Well, and Kirby's really good about his staff people. Buddy, I'm glad you mentioned Mike Bobo. Here's a guy who has been, I think, treated so unfairly in his career. He went and tried to be a head coach at Colorado State. It didn't work out. Okay. But they criticized him for his time at Georgia. Mike Bobo's last 3 years at Georgia under Mark Richt, 3 years out, he set the all-time SEC total offense record. The next year he beat it again, and the next year he beat it again, and that's when he went to become a head coach. I never understood what the numbers that the guy has put up as a coordinator, why he doesn't get more respect and recognition than he deserves. He deserves a lot more.
Tony, one quick one. I'll let you go. I told you I want to keep you 5 minutes of overtime, but you saw the trick plays from a different advantage. Napier's gotten criticized, as you might expect, for the fourth down calls he made. Without asking you, just giving your opinion about those decisions and what you thought of them from the other side. And was it a terrible decision or what?
I didn't think so. It didn't work out. But the fact of the matter is just as you guys said, there was somebody on the other side of the line of scrimmage there to blow it up. So I don't take too much on one player or see. Look, David said it. Georgia, when you watch Georgia and you watch Florida, you're looking at teams that are on completely different levels when it comes to physical talent. And so, and you're certainly not going to overcome that talent by making a different call in a clutch situation. It's one play, and it's about player. It's not about plays. It's about players. And right now, Florida didn't have enough players.
Right. And by the way, I had no problem with the call. I thought you're going to give your team the best chance to don't get the ball back to Georgia because they're going to score you. Try to keep the ball. He did that. Didn't work out. I don't know what David, I don't know what they're crying about, but that's the way it is. All right, guys. Tony, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. All right.
All right, guys. Take care.
Good night. Yeah. Tony Barnhart. One great to another great. Oops, I just lost Frangie. Dave's going to join us in a second here, David. Yes.
It is an all-star lineup tonight.
We do. Let's try this. Let's don't hang up on him this time. Let's see if we get him on the show. Go back and try it again. The great Frank Frangie. What's up, Frank? How you doing, brother?
What's up, buddy? Look at Dave over there. How y'all?
Look at it.
Happy Halloween. I'm an Arkansas
Halloween,
booster.
Right. How's everybody doing? Love the hat, Dave.
Yeah, thank
Fantastic.
you.
Yeah, that's a pimp hat. That's what he said.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
I'm
going.
from Fayetteville.
It's got pimp hat written all over it.
I'm going as a poor old man, Buddy Martin. That's what I'm going as. And so, yeah. Frank, how you doing, man?
I am good, man. Life is good. Life is good and busy and all that.
And the Jacks are playing good.
Jacks are rolling, baby.
Yeah.
You know what, Dave? This will shock you, but we don't roll that often. So this is a good thing. Dave's a Jacksonville guy, buddy. He's got Jacksonville.
I know. He told me all about it.
Those veins.
Yeah, I know.
So you know that.
I was there at Colt Fever night in 1979 when Bob Irsay flew in.
Yep.
And everybody said, "We're going to get the Colts." And well, it took about 20 years, but that check was finally cashed.
That's right. I was there too.
Yeah.
Helicopter landed in midfield.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I didn't make that one. I made a couple others later on. Well, Frank, two things. Number one, let's weigh in on what some people are calling the worst call since fourth and dumb. And the other thing is that David and I and Tony Barnhart just talked about it. This Georgia team is just so good. And Florida completely overmatched. I don't care how many trick plays they call. They weren't going to. I mean, they did well, probably do as well as they did the first half until the second quarter full up. What's the takeaway in Jacksonville about the trick plays and the call on fourth down?
Well, everything the same things everywhere else, buddy. I think number one, first the trick play. Yeah, I listen. I think Billy Napier is going to be a really good coach. I'm probably getting to the end before the beginning here. I think he's going to get good players. I think that's pretty obvious. I think he's going to develop them and build a culture and all those things. The question is he a good sideline coach? And I think whether that's accurate or not, that's what people are asking. Does he have a knack for calling plays and running the game? And look, and until that question is going to be asked, until it's not. And I think the trick play. I didn't mind. First of all, I thought they got screwed on the spot. I don't think there was enough to overturn it, but they overturned it. When they overturned and the second quarter started, I didn't mind going for it. I didn't think they were ever going to stop Georgia.
Didn't either at all.
I didn't mind going. Given number one, everybody goes for it now anyway. Nobody punts. There are any punters. There's no punters left. And so, but given where that game was headed, I didn't mind going for it. I hated the play. You snapped it through four legs. And you asked a running back to throw a pass. I get quarterback sneak or whatever, and then if you don't make it, you don't make it. So I think, first of all, I didn't mind going for it. I minded the play. But I think bigger than that, look, they went right down the field the first time with running plays and slants. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden the gadgety stuff and the reverse and the double reverse and the pitch it here and pitch it there, that's a knack. And it wasn't time for that. And I think that's the question about Billy Napier is, does he know when there's time and when there's not? To your second point about Georgia, look, today it's all about Jimmys and Joes, right? And every year there's 4 or 5 teams that has them. Ohio State some years, Alabama some years, Clemson some years. And Georgia's got them now. And they're going to be hard to beat for anybody. FSU's closing in on that. It's going to be hard for anybody to get them because they got a lot of really good players.
Frank, they got Jimmys and Joes and Franks and Harrys and Toms and Bills. And they got more than Jimmys and Joes. They got a bunch of players here for a long time. And they just impressed me. I mean, it's one of the best. In my eyes, David and Frank, just looking at the game, ranking the teams, I know what goes into that and all the stuff, mishmash and schedule. I got to say Georgia's number one team in the country right now in terms of ability. I know why they're holding back a little bit to see. Ohio State is not the best team in the country, but they're the number one team right now. But they're clearly, in my mind, what games I've seen, Georgia's the best football team now. That's what I saw they did to Florida, Frank. They look to me like the best team I've seen. How about you?
Yeah, they do. Now look, I think Michigan's pretty good. I think Ohio State's not quite as good. I think FSU's really good. But let me ask you guys. Buddy, you're in Ocala, Dave. You're writing columns in Gainesville. What is the buzz there? Is the buzz there what I just said, or is the buzz there? Because the last thing you need is noise in the system. David, what is the buzz in Gainesville about all that?
You spoke for many a Gator fan around here, saying that they're enthused about the recruiting. That's what they're hanging a lot of hopes on in the future, and they can see, the culture change. But even when the talent arrives, what will he do with it? Will he be able to coach it up properly? And that's what people are holding back on. And things like that happened Saturday, that just adds to it. It's funny how the overreaction to wins or losses. And if they had, like, every time things look grim, they'll bounce back and they'll win. Suddenly things are okay. Billy's okay. Then he has a game like that. If they lose Saturday to Arkansas, then it's, talk about noise in the system. You're going to need, more than earplugs to drown it out. They win that. And if he can, I hate to use the term, but it's true. If they can steal one of the following 3 games, then I think he'll be fine. He'll have enough goodwill built up for, a good offseason, and people will give him, let's say that spring tour will be a lot better for him.
Right.
If he can, especially if, if you had to pick one to win, if the dream scenario would be beating an unbeaten FSU team here in the swamp, that the Saturday after Christmas, then he's playing with house money for the year. But right now, those questions, he can't dog them, and things that happen Saturday, fair or not, that just adds to that perception.
It's hard to say what the buzz is because it's so mixed. Here's a bunch of comments. Fire Scott Strickland. That's a dumb comment. Fire somebody.
That'll cure everything.
And it's about how terrible play caller Billy is, and he needs to get an offensive coordinator and all that stuff. And Shane Mathers and I talked about it on the show this morning. By the way, this is the time of year when coaches go kind of crazy, go nuts. Ari Dabo, and we've seen that. And there's a lot of pressure. These guys have tremendous pressure on them right now. Billy has to stand up to it. And Frank, I don't know if you read the story or not, I think it was Tampa Bay Times, David, that wrote earlier in the year that Billy was vetted to see how he could handle the pressure, because it's different, Frank, as we know at Florida. And so consequently, it's going to see how he can hold up. He's coming to the gauntlet, man. It's going to be a tough run these next 4 or 5 weeks. And like David said, he better not lose that to Arkansas, because it's going to get nasty.
Yeah, I would, by the way, I think you said exactly right too, David. You got to beat Arkansas, or then it's really loud. If you beat Arkansas and steal one of the 3, then you're fine. If you don't beat Arkansas, you're not going to steal one of the 3, because it's a young team and they're going to lose all their confidence. So that's a really big game coming up. You know what? But it's an interesting point about handling the pressure. Until you've coached at Florida or Alabama or LSU, you can't imagine. You can't imagine what it's like that everywhere you go. I'll say this. You know who it walloped? Who it really walloped was Mike White. Mike White had been respected everywhere he had been. Yeah. He was at Louisiana Tech. He was a hot guy. He had been coaching at Ole Miss and played at Ole Miss. It walloped him. I think it hit his family hard. And I think he was overwhelmed by by the criticism, and said, screw this. I'll go up there to Georgia where nobody knows that we have a basketball team. and I think that's what happened. So when you get one of these guys that comes from one of these smaller schools and gets the Power 5 job of this significance, you better be able to handle it. And when things don't go well, you better. I said this too, and listen, I really think, I don't know Billy Napier. I've interviewed him a handful of times, but I don't know him. I think I'd really like him. I really do. I think he's a guy that I would like, but someone needs to coach him a little bit. Not every comment's got to come from Socrates. God bless him. But I think if you, and I don't mean this as a criticism, because I'm rooting for the guy and I like him, but buddy, I think if you asked Billy what he had for breakfast, I think his answer would be, well, we have great nutritionists and dietitians, and it matters how much caloric intake, and we're accountable and responsible to take care of our bodies, and once we do. Sometimes the answer is just bacon and eggs. Yeah, and I think Billy needs to learn that sometimes the answer is bacon and eggs.
Don't overthink it.
And I think that overthinking that we hear every press conference works its way onto the field too. Sometimes it's not about analytics, and sometimes it's about my gut says that cornerback's going to bite on the pump and go. And so I hope he gets there. I just think there's a lot to unpack in terms of the overthinking and the plan and the organization, the whole bit. That's my take.
Go talk to the master who have it simplified pretty much, who raised their coach over there. He didn't overthink it too much. Yeah. And so he did. Hey, Frank, real quick on the Jaguars. We were just going to get your thoughts. Playing really good. Could this be the year, maybe?
They have a good team. I say this every year, buddy. Every year in the end, this is my 10th year calling Jags games, but we've covered them since they got here 28 years ago. It's their 29th season. I think every year in the NFL, there's 7 or 8 teams that could win the Super Bowl. I think it's every year. and there's 24 that can't. And we're usually in the 24. Okay. And I think one of the few times in the 29 years there's been a franchise here, and only the second time in my 10 years of doing it, the Jags are one of the 7 or 8. I don't know if they're better than the Chiefs or the Eagles. The 49ers are slumping, but they've got a good team. The Dolphins are good. The Ravens are good. But the Jags are one of those teams. And I think the Jags, you get coach and quarterback figured out in this league, and they've got that part, then you have a chance. So they have a good team, buddy. They really do. They're legit, man. It's a legit football team on both sides of the ball. Get in that group of 7 or 8. That group of 7 or 8 makes the playoffs every year. Most of them usually have a home playoff game every year, and I think that's where the Jags will be. So, yeah, I love where they are. It's early. It's a long year, man. This season starts around Labor Day and ends Valentine's Day. That's a long season.
Year. People forget college football is different.
But I like where they are.
Yeah, it's fun. Well, you have a.
Frank, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Will you be moving to London with the team in 3 years and having to get a British accent?
That'll be a no. I just spent 11 days there, Dave. I'm good for the 11. I was happy to get there, and I was damn happy to come back. So
how was the kidney pie? Was that good?
Yeah, the food in London's terrible.
Oh,
okay, in case you want to know, it's just terrible. The beer's good. It's a great place. Yeah, Ireland. My wife went with me. We went to Ireland for a few days.
Oh, nice.
So no, I don't think they're moving. And if they were, I wouldn't go with them, Dave. I can tell you that.
Okay.
I can assure you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Your lips to God's ears, because Jacksonville needs that team. So hopefully,
I don't think there's any danger of the team leaving. I really don't. I do think they will continue to play in London even after the new stadium's built. I think there will be a game or two in London, probably 1, not 2. But I think there'll be a game in London every year. It's a big part of the business model. But I'm not worried about the team leaving.
Well, you get a condo there or a flat there and just month a year every year and stay over there for a while.
Yeah, right? I will tell you this: my wife and I never gone to Ireland. Ireland's fantastic.
I hear that.
Let's move a team to Dublin. That's my recommendation. Let's move a team to Dublin.
What was your favorite thing in Ireland?
The Cliffs of Moher, one of the most beautiful scenic things I've ever seen. My wife's heritage is Irish. Buddy knows Suzanne very well. David, Buddy's known.
I knew I liked her a lot. Because she's Irish,
and she loves going there. So we had a great time. And hey, the Jags won twice over there. So it was a long 11 days is a long trip, but it was a good trip.
Did Amber go with you? Did Amber go?
No. Amber didn't go. Just Suzanne. We had a wonderful time.
Well, that's great. London had Waffle Houses.
You know what? That's the problem. Okay, they've got to make some upgrades. They've got to upgrade to the Waffle House scene over there for sure.
Hey, Frank, before you go, I got a guy online here. I want to ask on his behalf. Is there ever a chance that the Ocala Quarterback Club could get you down here to speak?
I've done it before.
But not lately. Not lately.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, I'd love to do it.
Like 30 years.
It's harder now with all the. It's been a long time. Because I got lost in that forest. Buddy sent me through the forest going home. It's a long forest. You got a big forest there. And a lot of cities have forests anymore. So it's football season's hard, but I'd probably like to do it out of season. But I'd love to do it.
We don't have out of season. It's only in season, Frank.
It's only in season.
Yeah.
Well, that makes it harder. But
but you
reach out to everybody. We'll see what we can do.
But you do it for Mike McGinnis, right? If anybody.
That's right. You reach out, we'll find a way to do it.
Mike, he said yes. Just hang on. Okay. Take care, Frank. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate that.
Good seeing you guys. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Thank you, Frank. Okay, now here's the guy. Here's Coach Mike McGinnis, and I know David's got to go. But before you go, David, say hello to Mike McGinnis, and the captain of the quarterback club, former SEC official, and all-around good guy. Good evening to you, Michael. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I want to know about that hat you got on there. Is that the Halloween deal, or you wear that every day?
You don't want to know about it. You don't want to know about it, really.
Never mind.
It is a one-off. Yeah.
It has to do with the nefarious background he once had. Okay, let's leave it at that. No, he did not join the Ladies Red Hat Club. He did not join that. No. So, but you could, maybe, right?
Yes.
All right, David.
I could. It has some. Imagine Sam Pittman as a pimp. That's what it would be. Instead of a snout hat, I'd have the pimp hat. So
there you go. Looks good. And of all weeks to wear it.
Hey, buddy. Yeah. I'm sorry, buddy. I heard you talking with Frank there. If you can get some contact information, we can try to work that in if he'll be able to come during the season, like you suggested to him.
Yeah,
That's great.
I'll get back. It's going to be a reach for him, but we're going to keep working on it to get him down here. Maybe they'll have an
Thanks.
open day or something and see. Before I let David go, he's got to go now and do something. I don't know what. Probably count his money or something like that. David, when you wear the red hat again, don't ever wear it after the Georgia game, okay?
Oh, no.
Just remember that, all right? Wear it some other time, but not after the Georgia game.
Mm-hmm.
It's painful to look at that color right now.
Well, maybe when Florida beats them, I'll do it. So I better just put it in deep freeze for at least, I hate to say, at least a couple more years.
Yeah, the hat's not going to last that long, I'm afraid. It'll be gone by then. David, have a good night. Thanks for joining us, okay?
Okay,
David,
good seeing you, buddy.
Hang on, Mike. Come on. Thank you. All right. Michael, hang on. I got to do one commercial real fast because I don't get paid if I don't do one. All right, stand by.
You got it.
Jeffrey Meldon. Jeffrey, you do a show where you ask a lot of questions. I've got one for you right now, okay, regarding how do you know whether your case is being handled right and what to do about it. In medicine, you can get a second opinion if you're not satisfied with the doctor's opinion that they have. And do you have that in law? Can you do that with lawyers?
Yeah, buddy. As a matter of fact, we get quite a few calls from folks that have signed up, particularly with the big box law firms, that they do a hell of a good job of putting ads on TV, but after that, they don't really measure up to the way we try to create a client experience that's outstanding. And we're always willing to review a case and give a second opinion, just like with a doctor, because not all law firms are created equal.
I guess that's the normal thing. Just go to Meldon Law, Google, just give them a call. And like you say, if you come in, you get to see a Meldon. You don't get all right, Meldon Law, where you matter most, and they will fight for you there. Don't forget the official law firm, University of Florida. Our guest is Mike McGinnis, erstwhile president, captain of the quarterback club, who's done a fantastic job with the Ocala Quarterback Club. Now one of the most reputable quarterback clubs in the state, thanks primarily to Mike's effort and work. He and his colleagues, Wes and others there, who does a great job. I'm honored to be a member of it. And he does a terrific job on the speakers every year. And by the way, it's not easy, folks. If you've never done it before, just try to get people for a show. Try to get them to come out here and speak in person. Great job, Mike. Thank you so much for what you've done.
Well, buddy, you're flattering. Thank you very much for mentioning that. And certainly the quarterback club is a work in progress, but it's got a tribute to the hard work of the board, of which you are a member. And you mentioned Wes, we mentioned Fred Lant, and several others. I won't go into the list, but they're responsible as much as anybody else. And thank you for what you do for us.
Jan Skoke and many others we mentioned. Well, let me just say this before we get going on the question here. And we've got Loren Meadows, another one of your members, waiting in the wings to come on. Any particular calls that jump out at you this year so far? What's the most asked question, Mike, you as an SEC official, replay official, whatever? Has there been one in particular that jumped out at you?
Having been on the field for 15 years and then 10 years in the replay booth, most recently, it's been several years since I've been on either one, but I'm surprised at some of the rulings in the replay booth. For example, the other day over in Jacksonville, there was looked like a first down had been gained by Florida, and yet any time that the line to gain has been in question, whether or not it's been made or not for a first down, well, that's a key. For the replay official, he needs to look at that, and I'm telling you, that replay official is looking at each play. Period. If he doesn't get time to stop it and to look at it before the next snap is imminent and ready to go, then he's going to have to stop it. And it may be futile, but he's going to have to stop it, take a look at it. I saw one recently. I'm getting off the subject of that first down situation. I saw one recently where a snap, I guess it was in a Kentucky game. I'm a little confused now, as I say, almost always, where the snap occurred and then the play stopped to review the previous play. And when that happens, that's okay. it doesn't mean that they are late in doing it. It means that the communication down to the field or the buzzer or whatever else the case, they're supposed to stop it before the next snap. And the team that snaps it is supposed to be able to erase the ability for a replay to occur. Well, that happened in the Kentucky game, but I'm going to give the guys in the booth a break, if you don't mind, because sometimes they just can't get it in there quick enough. They don't hit the buzzer quick enough. The communication with the crew comm system, all the officials have a piece in their ear. They can hear the communicator next to the replay official upstairs say that we're going to review this. It's disappointing when the next snap gets off, but it can happen, but they need to stop it and take a look at it. Now, back to the Florida play.
Yeah.
I watched from my living room on my TV, and it looked like the line to gain had been made. I didn't think there was indisputable evidence, IVE, indisputable video evidence, to say that he hadn't made it. But somewhere along the line, in that booth or in Birmingham, and there's a minimum, buddy, of 5 people that are looking at that. And they must have seen something that I couldn't see in my living room on my television that said his leg was down, his calf or his thigh was down, his ankle was down. And the ball was at, if anything, 1 inch from the line to gain.
Yeah, no, it was. Instead, it got to be 2 feet.
Well, yeah, it ended up being over half a yard, and that just amazed me. I don't understand it, but they were seeing something, and I'm not going to defend them, but I'm also not going to throw them under the bus, although it sounds like I'm going to be.
Yeah. Let's see what Coach Loren Meadows, also a member of your club, says about that particular play. Loren, good evening to you. How you doing?
How you guys doing?
You know this guy. You know this guy in the middle, Mr. McGinnis, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's a handsome young man there. That's a good guy.
Yeah. Just get your take on it before I let Mike go. He's got to go have his milk and cookies and go to bed. It's past his bedtime. So before he leaves, let's get your take on that call you just mentioned, because I was confused too. I thought if you measured and it was an inch short, that's where the ball was supposed to go, not 2 feet back. I don't understand why they never explained it. Loren, you were shocked by that?
Yeah, I was. Because the only thing when Khalil caught the ball, I thought that he actually rolled over on the Georgia defender. So he caught the ball, which should have gave it's forward progress, and then as the defender tried to pull him back, kind of rolled over on him, and I thought that the ball, not necessarily where the spot was. So yeah, I was kind of surprised that at that point that the spot came back from maybe a few inches to almost like Mike said, 2 feet. And
sorry, Mike. Loren, having problems getting your audio in there for some reason. Yeah. Well, so
let me interject.
Mm-hmm.
What we're doing right now, you and me and Loren are doing exactly what's done in that review center in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 guys watching that play, plus 1 guy at the stadium, the replay official, plus his second set of eyes, which is the communicator observer. And we would be looking at it, the 3 of us would be looking at it as those 5 guys are, and come to a conclusion on what happened. So I have no idea. I haven't talked to anybody to tell me what they saw that we didn't see to move it back that far. But as a true orange and blue Florida Gator fan, it wouldn't mean a darn thing if we'd have made the next play.
Yeah.
And we didn't, unfortunately, dadgummit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that's the reason. That's not the reason they lost the game, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So Mike, it seems to me the game is so fast now. There's hardly enough time to get information exchanged from the people that got to have it exchanged. And the coaches are rushing it to go faster every time. And, it's everything boom, 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 boom. I mean, I don't know how the official keeps up with it, Loren, because it's so fast. And just getting the ball spot, it's a yeoman's effort to get that, and get the clock. You never know when the clock's set. Seems like there have been a lot of mistakes made on the clock this year, Mike. When the ball went over on downs and they didn't reset the clock, something happened because you see you got quarterbacks left with 10 seconds just to get in the huddle and call the play. I don't know. There's something wrong basically inherently with its system, the way it's built right now. I don't know how we can fix that, Mike, and you agree with me that it's just too fast for most people.
I don't know that I do that. It might be new people, it might be inept people, might be untrained people up on the clock, up in the booth, whatever the case. But that shouldn't be. But if you're seeing that, that's a possibility, certainly.
Loren, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just think that, I mean, like I says, the game gets faster. And, you look at things such as like, I know a lot of defensive coaches call it cheating with the RPOs and things like that, where it's harder to kind of, regulate offensive linemen downfield and those kind of things. I think as the game evolves, there's going to be at this situation where they may have to add more instances where it can go to replay and things like that to kind of help the officials out, because the game is moving at a fast pace and the ball is set faster, and you have the substitutions and the different personnel groupings. But, time will tell. I mean, football has a way of kind of reinventing itself and kind of going back and resetting its clock. So it'll be interesting to see how the officials handle that, and as the game continues to grow, and with some of the artificial intelligence and things like that, what they do with replay and all those things.
Mike, let's talk about a second about your guest Wednesday night, Quarterback Club. There's still time to join if you want to join the Quarterback Club. And Edgar Thompson is a really good reporter. You might not like him, you may think he's anti, but the fact is he works really hard to get information. If you've been around him, which I know Loren has, and you know what he does to get the information. And he knows a lot of things because he digs it out. And you might hear him ask a question. You think that's a dumb question. No, it's not. You have to ask questions to get information. So he should be entertaining for the club on Wednesday tomorrow night.
I'm anxious to meet him, and I'm anxious to get to know him a little bit. I do not know him. We've not only communicated by way of email and maybe a text message, but I've looked up some things on him to better introduce him tomorrow night, and I'm interested to, like I said, get to know him a little bit. We've not had him before since I've become the program chairman. And I didn't realize that, am I right in that he lives in Gainesville, but he works for the Sentinel in Orlando?
He actually doesn't live there, I think, now. I don't believe. Well, I guess he does. Maybe he still does, yeah. Yeah, I thought he was there, right? Yeah, he lives in Gainesville.
Yes, sir. He still lives in Gainesville.
I thought he moved back. You're right. He does. Been there for quite some time. Here's a question for you, Mike. I'll let you know. Ask him tomorrow night how much thought he puts into asking the first question. Because Edgar always gets the first question of the press conference. Ask him how much thought he puts into that, okay?
How does he do that? Does he draw the number or raise his hand first?
They just call him first because he's earned it. He's like there used to be a woman in the White House press corps called Helen Thomas. She got the first question. Edgar's earned it, so he's always Edgar, and he has not one but two. He'll ask two questions. So you might want to ask him about how much thought he had, because he had to adjust on the fly. So anyway. Mike, thank you so much. Go ahead.
Well, you're welcome. I'll do that, buddy. He comes highly recommended. 2 or 3 different people have suggested to me, as many members do, say, hey, you might want to talk to somebody about getting him to speak to us. And so I reached out to Edgar, and he was willing, and I'm anxious to see him tomorrow night here.
Yeah, he's going to be on the show next week. He couldn't do it this week because he had to come to the Quarterback Club. So, but Mike, thanks again for the wonderful job you're doing at the Quarterback Club. My old friend. Good to see you. Looking good, by the way. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. And, all right.
Yeah, buddy, you're flattering. I thank you very much for that. And I look forward to getting tying up with you sometime soon.
Absolutely.
See you, Loren.
See you, Mike. Good seeing you.
Okay. Great, Mike McGinnis. All right, thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, Loren, hold on 1 second here, and we will get back with you. I got to read a commercial.
Yes, sir.
Or two. One now, one after a while. This is for our friends at Titan MRI. I got to tell you, folks, it's a really, really good thing to know about, because you're in the medical business, and these things can get expensive. They're hard to book. If you ever booked an MRI, sometimes it takes 2 weeks, if not months, to get there. This place, you can just call up, get an appointment, come in, and you can pay with cash or card, and it's not that expensive, believe it or not. So it's worth a short drive to Gainesville. No insurance, no problem. Pay with cash or card, same-day scheduling. Start feeling better today because Titan MRI is North Central Florida's premier independent MRI facility. Come see why hundreds of patients are visiting our Gainesville office from Ocala, Marion County, the villages all over. That's TitanMRI.com. Our special regular, he's not a guest, he's a regular here on this night, and we'll be on again Thursday. And he's got some goodies to give out, I think. Am I right? Do you have a trivia question tonight?
Yeah, we do. We do have a trivia question, and then we can draw right before we go off the air if you want to.
All right, let's see how much interest we got. We'll throw it out there and see. Some people have already gone to bed tonight. So, all right, give it to us, Loren. You didn't get a chance to go out there. By the way, let me just say this. I talked to Freddie Weeby tonight. We are really excited because we've got a special event coming up there in the spring with Coach Spurrier and Coach Meyer. And it's going to be it will be one of those, it's really, really rare opportunities to be a part of it for charity. And you better get your tickets fast because they're going to go fast and they ain't going to be cheap. Okay, just so you know. All right, quick trivia questions.
So this will be the second time in a row that Arkansas has visited the Swamp, 2020, 2023. But in 2016, Florida visited Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the starting quarterback for the Gators in that 2016 game?
That's a good one because if you follow it closely, you know, I was at that game, so that's a good one. All right, so repeat it and let's go. Let's see if we can get it right.
This will be the second time in a row that Arkansas has visited the Swamp, but the last time.
When you say second time in a row, you mean the second straight time?
Second straight time, yes, sir.
Okay.
And in 2016, the Gators visited Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the starting quarterback for the Florida Gators in that 2016 game?
Okay, who was the starting quarterback in 2016? Good question. They go fast. Loren, I read your piece on the assessment. I did not agree with you on the call. You said it was worst call in the history of college football.
I didn't say that.
You did. You did say it. I read it.
No, it was
anyway,
pretty bad, though.
It's okay. Listen, when you do that, you open yourself up for criticism, and Billy knows.
Oh yeah,
that.
absolutely. I can hang. I can defend it easy.
Both Shane and I talked about it on the show this morning, saying I got no problem with it because you could talk about whether or not it was a good, well-designed play or whatever, but the bottom line is that you can't give the ball back to Georgia. You're trying not to do that because you know it's going to result in 7 points. Keep the ball. Take your best shot here. I know people say, well, punt it away. No, don't punt it away because Georgia's going to come downfield and score on you. So give it your best shot. If that was his best shot, maybe that could improve some, whatever. But look in your bag, see what you got, and call it and run it. That's my opinion.
Well, no, and I agree I have no problem with them going for it on fourth down. What I totally disagree with is the play call. I thought I love the design of the play, but at that point in time where you're kind of on your heels reeling, I'm not sure that was the time to call that play, particularly when you basically had the equivalence of a timeout prior to that play. And that's where, because you had the quarter change as well as, like you said, the measurement, the timeout, all those things. And to come up with that at that time where, you had some success kind of running the football. I just think at that time, when you have a team like Georgia, to remove the ball 5 yards from the line of scrimmage and then try to get it back, whether it be a pass or whatnot. If you want to throw a pass, that's fine. But if I'm throwing a pass, I'm dancing with the guy that throws the ball the best, and that would have been Graham Mertz. So that's what I had an issue with. And I think at that time, coming out of a timeout with all that time to discuss with your assistants and things like that, I just thought it was a bad call. I thought it was a really, really bad call. Okay. And like I said, I thought the play call was extremely bad. And I heard there's a Frank Frangie, you had him on earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, kind of the same thing. He talked about, the the Socraterical answers that Billy Napier gives and things like that. I thought that answer was basically the same thing. It was almost like take it or leave it. And I really didn't, I understand that he has the conviction of that call. Keep making calls like that, you're going to be convicted. So, I mean, I just thought that I really did not like that play call. I thought it was one of his worst play calls since he's been in Florida.
Well, he's only had 2 years of it. But, yeah, so when it works, people love it. And it doesn't work, they hate it. I think you can criticize that distance you had to go from where the tailback was under the quarterback, all that. By the way, that same exact play I had in high school. I snapped between my legs to my tailback, who was a passer. So I know that. But it was unless you're really, really good at that, and they clearly are not. I mean, quick out to Ricky Pearsall would have been better, probably. Whatever. But anyway, he's trying to keep in the game, trying to give his team some momentum. He's trying to get the fans stirred up. Turns out not to have been a good decision. I have no problems with the call, in my opinion. Could maybe better play design, maybe. All right, so here we go. Go ahead.
No. I mean, like you said, but quarterback sneak right there. If you're saying, I think we've all come to the realization that Georgia is better. They're a better football team than Florida. But if they stop you on a quarterback sneak with that shorter distance to go, then more power to them. They deserve everything. But I would have made sure they could have stopped me on that quarterback sneak.
Well, it's Georgia, and they're dominating. And you're thinking, well, maybe I don't go at them. But the thing is, the 2 fourth-down calls and decisions didn't work because of good choices by the defenders. Georgia's a disciplined team. They were there. So, anyway, all right. So let me just do the spot here, and then you got to tell people who won. I want to tell you folks about our good friends at Renstar Medical Research. Been sponsoring this program a long time. We're very grateful for what they do there. They're, of course, known for their high-quality, patient-centered medical research facility. They're in Ocala. Bring cutting-edge research trials to Ocala areas like Alzheimer's, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, migraines, fibromyalgia, many other conditions that affect us here in this community. Since their inception in 1998, Renstar has had over 700 clinical trials, continuing to partner with prominent pharmaceutical and biomedical companies throughout the medical industry. So you can be a part of these if you like. If you qualify, go to renstar.net and see. In some cases, compensation is paid for time and travel. Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Who we got, Loren?
The winner of the question tonight is Q Lee. I don't know, Q, you'll have to, if you end up winning the drawing, you'll have to get with us and give us your full name so we can get you your merchandise and things like that. But before I go, I need anyone that has won the trivia for the month, things like that. The answer is Luke Del Rio. Luke Del Rio was the starting quarterback. Florida lost that game, I think 31-10. Did not score an offensive touchdown in that game with Luke Del Rio quarterback. No. And Luke Del Rio was the starting quarterback that evening. So we can go ahead and draw for our monthly winner, but I need anybody that has won the trivia in the past to send me a private message on Facebook with your address, because Gator Bait Media has some things we want to give out to you as well. We got some books and some other things that we'd like to send you. So reach out to us, please.
All right. And by the way, what is your Facebook page? Just Loren Meadows?
Loren Meadows. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Loren, not Laure.
Laure. No, sir.
All right. Give me a 30-second scenario. What happens in the game on Saturday?
Got to stop the quarterback. Quarterback rules the day. They pretty much go as KJ Jefferson goes. I don't think the running back will be back again this week. They had a nice 1-2 punch with KJ Jefferson and what they had at the running back position. But, I think that, they're susceptible to the big play. I think Florida will be able to get some big plays, but the way the defense has been playing, they're going to have to really, really focus on getting KJ Jefferson on the ground, because it's not necessarily anything that's explosive. But what happens is when he gets out in the secondary on the edge, with him, things that could be a 3-4 yard gain turn into a 6, 7, 8 yard gain because of his ability to run through tackles, fall forward, and things like that. And I think they're going to simplify things a little bit. I think Kenny Guyton is going to be their offensive play caller this week, former Ohio State quarterback. You might know that name, buddy. And so he's a young guy, and I think they're going to dial things back a little bit, try to simplify it. So you would think with that simplification, that would mean that KJ Jefferson would be, could still be the focal point, but not have there won't be a lot of flash to it. It'll just be a lot of, sticking to what I think Sam Pittman would like to do best, is run the ball and then turn KJ Jefferson loose. So I think that is going to tell the story, because the problem is, no matter what Florida does on offense, and I've heard people criticize, the fact that they don't throw the ball down the field, even though Graham Mertz has thrown the ball extremely well in the intermediate areas, and they have hit some shots, that have been big. The fact is that Florida doesn't get enough stops on defense, and you got to have those turnovers and that short field and things like that. And you're going on this is game 8, and they failed to game 9. They've only got 4 turnovers in 8 games. I mean, it's just not good enough, and you have to get the stops. I think we could even maybe count the 3 and outs on 10 fingers. So they got to get better on defense. I mean, that and that's going to be the key is getting the stops. These next 4 games, they got to get the stops.
Great stuff from Coach Loren Meadows. You can read him online at GatorBaitMedia.com. Check it out. It's there every week. His pregame and postgame analysis. Coached him up with some X's and O's. And, by the way, pretty good guy, too. Coach Meadows, good to talk to you tonight, buddy.
Yes, sir. And the winner of this month is Chris Sorley. So, Chris, if you're on, give us a shot. Send me your address, and we'll kind of talk about what's available to you. We got some stuff from Gator Bait as well as from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. So,
this is the trip to Vegas he won, right?
Yeah,
he'll call now.
If Gator Bait sends somebody to Vegas, it needs to be me.
You. How about that, brother? All right, you have a good evening.
All right,
thank you, Lauren. Lauren Meadows. Okay. All right, folks, thanks. So remind you once again to check out our main business, which is GatorBaitMedia.com. Thanks to Brendan Martin. He was off tonight. He went trick-or-treating with Stella. So I get the duty tonight, and glad to have it. And let me assure you, Stella, this is how she went tonight. She's Sugar Ray. She's Sugar. Look at that. I don't know who she is, but she looks cute as a button. Look out, boys. Don't mess with her. This girl's 11. She can punch. All right? Cute outfit. I hope you had a happy Halloween, and I hope you have a good evening and a good week this week. And if you're going to the game on Saturday, enjoy it. I'm Buddy Martin. The program's the Buddy Martin Show, and thanks for listening and thanks for watching right here on this channel.